Hey friends, sometimes whenever I'm reading emails in the Epstein files, I come across certain things that make me so mad because they're from people who have tried to pretend that they did not know what was going on. And it makes it clear that they did. The one we're talking about today, Terry Kafka, a Dallas businessman. Let's take a look at his statement back in September 2025, whenever his note in the birthday book to Jeffrey Epstein came out. He had the audacity to say, "Well, I was told to. Gillian asked me to. It was just a favor. I don't hardly know him." As you can see, this article is dated September 10th, 2025. Inside Epstein's 50th birthday book, compiled in 2003 by Ghislaine Maxwell, was a two-page letter from known Dallas advertising executive Terry Kofka. The note was far more explicit than most greetings. Also, up here, they have two pictures. This is Epstein, Kafka, and a couple of other dudes recreating a picture from their youth. This is them when they were young. This is them recreating it as they're older. Man, Epstein looks weird as hell. Young. Ugh. Kafka wrote, 50 years old, you really have had a pretty amazing life. Amazing because of where and when it started. Paul and Seymour, Epstein's parents, effing. Who was there to tell him where to stick it? Kafka wrote. He went on to call Epstein's teenage years, which brings me to when you lost your virginity. You may not remember, but I was under the same roof that New Year's Eve in 66 or 67. Epstein was born in 1953, so that would have made him 13 or 14. And later he described Epstein's transformation abroad. In Europe, I really saw a true transformation in you. You lost all of your chubbiness, and I remember noticing that you grew a few inches. That don't give a shit attitude, your calculated aloofness, your sense of humor, and most importantly, that confidence came to you early on. The article says Kafka has been mentioned widely across social media and websites since the Oversight Committee's files were published. He told WFAA the letter doesn't reflect who he is. The letter is so out of character for me, Kafka said in an email. I recall now that an assistant in his office asked me to write a note or letter to him for his 50th birthday, told me to make it funny and raunchy so it's humorous. In a voicemail, Kafka added that the request came directly from Maxwell. I was instructed by Ghislaine Maxwell to make it funny and as raunchy as possible so that Jeff would get a kick out of it. We were basically childhood friends, that was the extent of it. I do remember that letter. It was intentionally written to be funny. He declined an on camera interview, saying, I'm just a bit of a player from childhood. I'm really not relevant to his adult life. I'm not hiding anything at all, but would like to still remain a footnote to this stuff. Kafka said, I never saw this scrapbook, nor did I attend the birthday party. Here's his full statement, friends. Jeffrey Epstein and I grew up in the same neighborhood of Brooklyn during the 60s, and we were friends during our teenage years. In our later adult years, we went our own separate ways in different cities and in different worlds. We talked just a handful of times after high school. I was one of many people asked to write an off color letter in a style that would amuse Epstein to be included in his 50th birthday scrapbook. The letter was completely out of character for me. Subsequently, when Epstein was charged, not convicted, with soliciting prostitution in Palm Beach, I was asked by his legal team to write a character reference. I complied. After he was charged, I spoke to him very infrequently and rarely saw him, never flew on his jet, nor participated in any of the activities of which he is accused. I have never spent time with him in any social settings, with his friends, girlfriends, acquaintances, or victims, nor have I visited the island. I strongly condemn the exploitation of young women. The behavior Jeffrey Epstein has been accused of is unconscionable. The world is a better place without him. Okay, with that all fresh in our minds, friends, let's switch over to an email that he sent to Epstein. This is March 7th, 2019, just 3 or 4 months before Epstein was arrested and unalived. Clearly, it's unredacted right here. It says it's from Terry Kafka. And he's sending Epstein some clickbait from something called Demilked. Oh, God. It says 30 ordinary photos with amazing backstories. And he says, Jeff, Warren, go directly to photo number 9, Terry. Well, the photos aren't here, but the numbers from the article and the descriptions of the photos are there. So let's go directly to number 9. Number 9 is the youngest mother. Lena Medina, born on 23 September 1933, was the youngest woman to ever give birth. She did so when she was just 5 years old. Turns out Lena was born with a rare condition called precocious puberty, a condition where sexual development happens at an early age. Lena gave birth on May 14th, 1939, via cesarean section, since her pelvis was too small. The child, named Gerardo, was born completely healthy, but the father was never found. He specifically sent this to Epstein because he knew Epstein would like it. Now, I haven't tried to find the specific clickbait article that Terry Kafka sent to Jeffrey Epstein, but I believe this is likely the picture. This is Lena Medina, a 5-year-old Peruvian girl who gave birth at 5 years old, and the father was never found. She was a victim of rape. And Terry Kafka knew that Epstein would like this story. I feel like that says something about what he knows about Epstein's proclivities. What do y'all think, friends? And that is alleged. I don't want to be sued. We can't know for sure what Kafka was thinking, but we know what he wrote. Go directly to photo number 9. And it was the picture and story of Lena Medina. We've all heard the rumors of Epstein's baby farm aspirations and stuff like that. And I noticed in one of the emails, his Gulfstream girl or global girl, Nadia Marcinkova, actually referenced him offering to buy her baby. Let's take a look at that real quick. This is August 11th, 2013. We're going to skip the most part and go right down here to the end. She says, "You made many unusual offers. You offered to buy my baby 6 months into our relationship, and 6 years later, you offered to support my next boyfriend. Do you remember that?" It's probably not in the emails either, and I understand nobody would believe it. You offered to buy my baby 6 months into our relationship. What the hell, friends? Just what the hell? Now, clearly, we can see here that Terry Kafka was lying. He emailed Epstein all the time. And if you look on the dates of these, the dates are all over the place. We just read one from 2019. We've got him talking back in 2009 after he got out of prison, after his conviction. Some of these may even be while he was in prison. Look, Terry Kafka sent him an email July 9th, 2009. Subject matter is release date and says, "What are your plans come 22nd?" May 21st, 2019. This is literally a month before he was rearrested. Someone who is redacted sent an email to Jeffrey, to his JEE vacation at Gmail, and says, "Terry Kafka is here," weeks before his arrest and death, friends. Also, what's going on here? This is weird. Epstein fires off an email February 13th, 2014. Subject matter is wiring instructions to Richard Kahn and Terry Kafka. And all it says is send 10K medical expense. Kafka replies with an account name and company. And I don't know. Why would Jeffrey request 10K from Terry Kafka? Or was he telling Richard to send 10K to Terry Kafka? I don't know, but one way or another, they were exchanging some money. I don't know what Jeffrey Epstein and Terry Kafka are actually talking about here, but in 2017, Jeffrey emails him and says, "Panda jacket got wet." Terry says, "You better get all your dungarees and chukka boots before they get ruined. Also, with all those girls coming through, there must be a dozen girdles laying around." And Terry says, "Crap, I bet that jacket looked amazing with no shirt and swim trunks and your JEE slippers poolside." Weird. But what I noted was him saying, "with all those girls coming through." He knew. And girdles laying around, like for anyone who doesn't know, that's just another word for underwear. A very, very old fashioned one. I don't know why I even said that. Weird. Okay, here's another weird exchange between Terry Kafka and Epstein. This is 2018. Terry Kafka emails Jeffrey and says, "Hey, Jeff, when was the last time you picked up an accordion? I can still see you playing it in the Epstein family loft on Seagate Avenue." And he says, emails again and says, "Do you still have it? Are you in New York or Paris for holidays? All good here in Dallas, going to La Jolla for the holidays." Jeffrey says, "Yes, I play it for the girls. They love it. Just fucking with you, John." He says, "Ha ha, you are to Wall Street what the accordion is to a symphony orchestra." In other words, not congruent? I don't know. Oh, wow. Here's another good one. Look, this is May 20th, 2019. Again, we're talking weeks before Epstein's death. Jeffrey wrote, Les, is there an apartment for Terry or appointment? I don't know what he was abbreviating here with his APT for sure. Harry Kafka replies to Jeffrey and Leslie Groff. I'm set, Jell. I think he meant to say Jeff. Next time in New York, Les will take care of me. Jeff, you have to walk through the new TWA hotel at JFK. Remember, we used to go there to watch jets take off and land and to pick up girls? Now, I'm sure he was talking about them being younger and, using pickup lines type thing, but this dude knows Jeffrey Epstein well, well. And looky here, December 18th, 2013. On December 17th, Terry Kafka emails Jeffrey, JE, have a relaxing holiday, continued success in the new year. Have a fun day with Warren on the LSJ Island in Jan. Jeffrey replies, you're welcome to join. Terry Kafka says, no way, really? So he sounded quite excited about the possibility of going to his island. Now, here, I found another email that references that $10,000 that Jeffrey sent Terry, and it gets weirder, friends. It says, send me your bank details. I will wire you 10K for AMIC or for your fun. Makes no difference. What is AMIC? But the conversation before that was just weird as hell. Terry says, why'd you put the word partner in quotes? Because Jeffrey had just said, correct, you cannot even partner with an MD in New York, a medical doctor. They're talking about Linda and Warren Eisenstein and says, I don't know, you should probably contact a healthcare attorney. Texas, like New York, does not allow healthcare providers to own a medical optometry practice. I don't know, but somehow this information come up to Jeffrey sending Terry Kafka $10,000 for something or his fun. Makes no difference. What do y'all think is going on there, friends? Weird as hell. Let me know what y'all think in the comments and we will go out with a palate cleanser. I forgot to put one on the last video and I apologize. Hope everyone's having a good day and I'm anxious to hear what you think, friends.